Emily, do you want me to put the link to the form or anything in the chat or the website, or are we just going to keep it all, just direct them there?
It's on the website. Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are excited to host another Schoology parent training for you guys. Today, we are going to talk about the parent account on the mobile device, how to find your students, because it's a little bit different than when you're on a computer, what notifications you can set, as well as reviewing the student account about the activities and the grades. We are going to go into a student account today to submit an assignment from the app. Since we've opened up the app access, I just want to make sure we review that one. And then looking at the calendar and grades. Finally, we're going to talk about how to navigate our Google account. So if you have a computer at home where you've got multiple users with multiple Google accounts, there's a couple tips and tricks that we can help with that will make the navigation of that a little bit easier. So you will notice on the slides to follow, these slides are on our website. If you scroll a little bit further down than where you're accessing this presentation. And I am going to exit out here in a second to go to my mobile device so that I can show you from that screen. But you will notice that on the following slides, I've got some screenshots so that you can reference back to these. So let me stop sharing this screen and I'm going to share my device. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start out here in the Schoology app. And I did log in. Usually when you log in, it brings you to this home screen. And as a parent, I'm not logged into any courses or groups. But when I click at the 3 lines at the top left, then I get this navigation menu. The first thing I want to do is look at my children. Now, in this parent account that I have one sample student, so you'll see some sample courses. If you have multiple children in the district, what you'll do, at the top, you see courses and groups and more. When you click on more, you'll see your children's names there. Actually, at the top left, you'll also see them there too. If you're using a phone to access this, I'm on an iPad. So if you're using a phone, you'll see the children's names, and that's actually my screenshots on the slideshow. So it looks pretty similar to, let me unclick that, looks pretty similar to the computer. So you have access, I'm viewing this as my student. When I click on courses, I see the 3 courses that the student's logged into. This student is not a part of any groups. And under the more, this is where I can go to see the grades. So when I click on more and I click on grades, it's going to take me to grade report, mastery, and attendance. I'll want to click on grade report. And then it'll bring up the 3 courses that my sample student is enrolled in. I'll click on math. And then the default is going to be whatever 9 weeks we are enrolled in. So right now in the 9 weeks, second 9 weeks, these are the assignments that my student has. Now, you will notice, let me make sure. Okay. I'm going to come back to this first 9 weeks, as this is where my sample data is. But you'll notice these are the names of the assignments. I have on the gradebook here on this first assignment, the teacher went in and marked it missing. Something to note about this, that when we're looking at a student calendar, like the due dates, that if a teacher has marked an assignment missing, then it goes away from the calendar from the overdue dates. Now, I see this next assignment is right here, this one. That one just has a dotted line. That means my student hasn't turned it in. This next one, the teacher had marked excused. The same for the next assignment, online orientation. There's a dash line there. My student hasn't turned that one in. Then I see this brain pop right here, this assignment. I see a small document icon there. That means my student has turned something in, it's just waiting for a grade. So if you are looking for what does my student need to turn in, the fastest place to get to that information would be to come to the More section, go to Grades, and select Grade Report. It'll pull up all the assignments that are in the gradebook. Let me come back here. Anything with a dashed line means it still hasn't been turned in. If it's got a dash and a little document there, you're good to go. And then the last one down here, I'll say if the teachers mark the assignment incomplete, you'll see that incomplete mark there. Assignments that are marked incomplete do still show up on the overdue list. So that's just a quick little overview of the student gradebook. If you want to go see what those assignments are, you can go into your courses. Let me go into my student math course. I can come back to the grades section on the left. And then I'm going to go back to the example where I have my, my grades there. I'm going to expand, and let's say I want to see this missing assignment. Now you'll notice this turned blue. So I can actually click on that and it's going to take me to that assignment. Now this was a question, this was an assessment, and it says this is not currently accepting submissions. Now let me close out of that one. Come back to my children. Now, if you're on an iPad device and you want to go to one of your other children's accounts, here, just go up to the top right and choose between your child's accounts. If you're on a mobile device like a phone, then you'll go to the More, and then your child's name will appear at the bottom there. There are notifications when you first log into the app. The app will ask you if you want notifications. The same thing at the top right under settings. You can set your notifications here. And by notifications, what they mean is you can get an email or like an email summary, a daily or a weekly. That's this one. And you can choose the frequency of that. And then overdue submissions, you can choose that. So anything when your student hasn't turned something in and you select that you want to get email notification for that, change that to on and then press save changes. Okay. Come back through my slides. Okay. The other thing I wanted to point out here under the More section is the calendar. So you are going to notice here when looking at this view that my student has a lot to turn in on Friday. The thought behind this is that when assignments are created on Monday, we give the students the week to do the assignments. Now, this takes some planning and some training in order to be able to pace out our time. So any of our students out there that are still learning time management skills, this is going to be a challenge for them for sure. We would have to take a look at off of the daily calendar. So if a student's just looking at a day, they might think, oh, great, I have one assignment due today. We have to change the view at the top. I can look at the weekly view, or I could look at the monthly view. My preference is the monthly view, because now I get a good view of what I've got going on this week and how I need to pace that out. This is a hard skill to learn, but using the calendar feature that we have in Schoology is going to be a helpful tool to be able to help our students pace out their work. Now you'll notice at the bottom of this calendar, I've got the words personal right here. and school and groups and courses. So the calendar is color coded. Students can add calendar events. So if they wanted to add an event on their calendar, maybe say they want to work on this particular lesson right here, 9.3. Oh, sorry. This 9.3, and they want to work on that on Tuesday. They could add an event on the calendar to be able to work on that assignment. So again, we access the calendar by clicking on more and then calendar there. And this is all my students' view. This is all where I access my student account. Erica, I'm going to stop right now. What questions do we have in our chat or in our form about what we've talked about so far?
So will the assignment be attached to what they need to do, such as the paper or form that they need to complete, or will it just be the name of the missing assignment they need to complete?
Good question. So anytime you want to, right now, the way I would recommend is go through the course and click on grades. So and actually let me go back one screen. Let me come back to the materials section. So when I'm in the course, on the right over here, like right here, I see there are no upcoming assignments or no overdue assignments in this particular course. If there was an overdue assignment, you could click on that. The fastest way I think to get there is go directly to the course, click on grades, and then you can see the assignments that are due here, and you can just click right on that assignment. Now, the student will have to be logged into their account in order to submit. So this is the actual assignment here, and you notice at the top right where it says submissions, there's nothing there. Here in a second, when I log into my student account, I can show you how the student would actually take a picture of that.
That was the only one. Well, there was a question about I like to be able to follow along and see what my student's doing, but I think you kind of demoed how to do that.
Okay. So I am going to stop sharing for a second and get out of this account and go into my other one. Yes, I'm sure I'm going to log out. Okay, let's share screen again. Okay, so I am in my sample account. I'm going to go to that math course as a student. So you'll see the navigation on the device is the same as the parents. I'm going to go to my course. Now let's say I have my writing task. Now this little tab over here stays hidden, but if there was something upcoming, I could click there. So in that writing task, I'm going to come over here to my, let's say this one, and I know that's due. So here's my information for my assignment. And then I'm going to click on submissions. Now you can tell already as a student, I've already submitted 2 assignments here, but I'm going to show you at the top right. If you click create submission, that's going to open up a text box so that students could type something in. Really in this situation, I'm going to go back to my info for a second. On step number 4, it says submit a picture of your work using the submit button. So here under submissions, they click the plus sign and they'd say submit photo video. Yes, I want Schoology to access my photos. Now, if I've already taken a picture of it, I could go to my photo library, or if I haven't taken a picture of it, I can use the photo option at the bottom left, and I'll choose medium. You can choose high, either way. It says, yes, I want to allow. So now I'm going to take a picture of my coffee cup there to send. I'll use that photo. Now you'll notice over here, I've got one photo already selected because I took it with the camera. I click the check mark. And now it's been added. Now it has been added as an additional revision. So the teacher right now will get all of those submissions. So let's talk, oh, sorry, I got out of my Schoology app. Okay, now one of the questions that I see about, and I'm going to switch back over to my computer now. Share my screen. Go into Google Chrome and let me come out here. So when I'm in my student account, I have the ability to arrange my course dashboard. So let me log into Schoology real quick. And as we have students transitioning between home and school, some teachers are changing. And so in this situation, as teachers are arranging their rosters, and that's being fixed, students will have a bunch of courses show up on their dashboard. So one of the things they can do when you click on your course dashboard is you can click and drag on the course. So if I click and hold, I can move it around. When you click on this courses right here at the top left, there are 12 spaces that you can have spaces for. So considering a student at the elementary level would have homeroom, then they'd have language arts, math, science, and social studies, all 5 of those, and then there's specials courses. So you can get to 12 courses pretty quick. And then at the secondary level, you've got 8 plus an attendance course and any other groups or organizations that your students are part of. So when you click here on courses, you'll see I've got those 3. If I want to reorganize this way, I can click at my courses at the top right. And then right over here where it says manage courses, right below join a course, if you'll choose reorder courses, and then you can drag and arrange these courses as you need. When there are, now I do not have 12 in this particular training example, when there are more than 12 courses, when you scroll down in this window, you'll see a line that says courses below this line do not appear in your course dashboard. And that's, you can drag those courses up above until we get these courses fixed. All right, Eric, are there any other questions about this particular part of the training before we go into Google?
Sorry, I was muted. There isn't anyone. There's one that's about attendance.
Okay.
And we can address that at the end.
Okay. So the second part of this is navigating your Google profile. So when I'm in my Google Chrome browser, there's 2 places I can log in. I'm going to open up a new tab so I can show you these 2. At the top right, you'll notice the Hey CISD star, and when I hover over that, it says Emily. And then you'll also notice actually in this window, the Hey star. Before, like, you know, when Google first came out, we were just logging in right here. And let's say you have a work Google address and a personal Google address, or you have your Google address and your 2 children's Google addresses. If you try to navigate this way, and add accounts right here in the browser, right here, you can get confused between which Google account is actually logged in. So the way that Google recommends going is through the Chrome browser. So at the top right, if you have not logged into the Chrome browser, now I guess let me be specific. This is for any kind of laptop device or computer device. If you're on a Chromebook, the Chromebook actually does this for you. So when you log into the Chromebook, you are logged into Chrome. So if your students are sharing a Chromebook at home, then you'll just want to make sure that they log out of the Chromebook, and then your other student logs into the Chromebook, and then we won't have these issues. So when you come up to the top right, you'll notice I've got my name here, and I've got a whole bunch of other people in my list. So I'm going to actually scroll down to the bottom and click Add. Now, this is my sample account. I can choose a picture for it, or when I get into the account, I can actually upload my own. Let's say I choose the sandwich for it, and then click Add. What this is going to allow me to do is switch between Chrome profiles much more easily. See, it opened up a new browser for me. I can log into this browser, and I can just be in this account. And if I want to go back to any of my other accounts, then I come up here to the top right, and I click on that list, and then I can go to any of my other accounts. Now, there's one more step here though. You are going to want to make sure that they finish signing in through the browser. So let me give this a second. Already a Chrome user. So I would put in my Gmail account. And then here I would type in my password. And then I'm going to get a message that says, confirm. Do you want to turn on your sync? Yes, I want to turn on the sync. What the sync does is it's going to take anything that I've bookmarked, any personal information here, and it's going to bring it in. Now I'm getting an error. Oh, I got to add my extension here. Yes, I can enable that. So here in a second, you're going to see all of the bookmarks that have been added. Any history goes between these two accounts. Now, let's say I don't really actually want this account. Let's see. I am installing my husband's account, so he's got Fantasy Pros coming up immediately on his tab here. Now let's say, oh, you know what? I don't really need this account anymore. This is a shared device. I want to get rid of it. So I click back on the Chrome browser at the top right, and I click on this wheel, and it's Manage Profiles. So any of these profiles, let's say I want to get rid of this one, and I need to get rid of this one. And this removes any of these accounts. So let's see, I'm going to go back over here. I have some cleaning up to do here. So now that's removed that account from my list of accounts that I can easily access. Move this one, and I'll move this one. So the same way that I can add a person, I can also remove that account. And if I want to switch between accounts, if we don't want to keep logging in and out of the computer, we can just click on this and go directly into the other account. And it takes us there. And then we can do what we need to do. Now, the last thing I wanted to point out about this is that sometimes, and this is becoming more and more as we visit multiple websites and multiple video hosts like YouTube or SafeShare, any of those, when you call the help desk, one of the things they're going to say is, have you cleared your cache and cookies? So there are websites that will track your data to make it an easier experience for you. At the same time, that kind of bogs down your browser. So when you're having challenges, one of the things you can do is clear your cache and cookies, and that should help with kind of giving your browser a refresh. So at the top right next to the login picture, you have the three dots. You're going to go to More Tools. And under the More Tools, you click Clear Browsing Data. So it'll take you into your settings. It'll pull up this Clear Browsing Data. If you've never done it, I would recommend changing that to all time. If you have done it, then you can just go, let's say the last week, last 4 weeks. And when you click clear, and it's going to save, clear out any of the stuff that might be just kind of bogging your internet browser down. When you go to support websites, one of the first things they'll ask is this question: have you cleared your cache and have you cleared your cookies? And then once you do that, I'm not going to do it in this presentation because then I would lose my tabs up at the top, but you would want to just give your computer a restart. So it's going through that clear cache and data. Let's see. Now these instructions are on the slideshow that is on our website. Let me come here. I've just gone through a demo of it, but if you scroll down in our presentation, we've got the pictures of how to access the things that I've shown you here. And again, these are the mobile device app. I showed you from the iPad. They're very, very similar. And then what those codes mean again, and then how to share Chrome with others. If you wanted a refresher on where to go to add a person or a profile. I can't stress this enough. This will really help with any confusion you might have in Schoology with your Google account, or let's say you're logged into your computer into the Chrome browser, but your student is using a tab on one of those browsers. It will cause some confusion there. How to remove a person and how to delete your browsing history. Now, one thing I did want to point out, after this question slide, I left the slides from our first presentation here in case you just wanted to review those again. They've got some pictures on how to set your default account and password and some good tips there. Erica, what kind of questions do we have?
The last question is around if kids are in person, like they're selected for this 9 weeks to be in person, can they do virtual or stay home any day of the week if they're not sick and complete work in Schoology?
That is a great question. I would actually have to ask someone else about that one. I believe if you choose to be in person that you need to be there, but let me get some clarification on that one.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. And I was thinking that the reasoning for that was if you selected in person, then you stay in person unless you're quarantined, unless you're having to quarantine, then that would mean, you could transition. But I think you're right. I think you have to stay for that 9 weeks, but we can get back to you on that question.
Definitely.
So one just came up about sometimes we get access denied when we click on a link. Let's see, I think they're still typing. Oh, does that mean we're not logged in correctly?
That could be, yes. There are sometimes where we get a private access denied, that it could be a login issue, yes. Sometimes it could be the way that the actual document was linked in the program. In that situation, if you have a specific course name that you're trying to access and you say, hey, I click on this link, I would send that information to your teacher and say, hey, we got a private access on this. And if they're not sure why you're getting a private access, then you can contact the help desk, or you can put this on this Schoology parent forum and say, hey, we're trying to access this course. My child's at Simon Middle School, and we're trying to access this course and having difficulty with it, and we can help you get that taken care of. Because there is nothing more frustrating than clicking on a link and getting an access issue error code.
And that's it, Emily.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your time this morning. And then we will continue to host parent trainings. If you have any specific needs before our next one, then just put something in the form here and we can help you out with that. I hope you have a great day and a blessed Thanksgiving.